Ooh. So I can
We
present.
are live. Good evening, everybody waiting in the chat room. It is Monday, the 18th of September, 2017. This is the Sun and Moon Group. We are live today, and on the panel, we have Ceres from Holland, Isha from the UK, we have Wizlaz from America, and we have Matt Jerome from America. And tonight's subject is psychological warfare. So over to Matt.
Okay.
A big subject.
No, it is. It is that they're under psychological attack all the time. They don't realize it. Propaganda, commercialism, or education and religion, it's all part of the psychological warfare for control over your body. A long time ago, Rome realized it was too expensive to try to go and conquer nations when they realized all they had to do is educate the mind. Because they realized if they can control the thinking of a man, they can control the body, and if they can control the body, then they would have the soul. They'd have full control over the body and the vessel and everything in it. So they genocided parents and taught children. They kept young children, took them away from their parents, and they indoctrinated them into Roman thinking. Children don't know nothing. They're innocent. They're being told a program.
Roman thinking. Roman thinking.
Roman thinking, which is German.
German.
Well, the Queen of England, she's the Queen of Germany and Russia and Rome. She's the Queen. She's Queen of a lot of countries. Hundreds of countries, over 100 countries. 123, I think. I think that's the number I saw yesterday. And she's also a private corporation that has purchases of countries. Countries are corporations. They're not sovereign. They're corporation and corporate entities, so you can be bought and sold. The United States is a corporation. It's not a free country. It's a corporation. US Inc. is bought and sold on the world market. US Inc. United States Incorporated. It's not the land. It's a corporation that took over in the 1860s through deceit, through Congress, the manipulation of words. But people don't realize that they are not being recognized as alive. And words have different meanings, and in different forms, they have different power. And if your name is in all capital letters, that means that your capacity has been reduced to the full amount, reduced to your maximum. You're unable to make decisions for yourself. You don't have consciousness. You're a beast. Your stat, you've been reduced and diminished in mental capacity to a corpse. So that's what an all capital letters name means. And that's how you do business every day with corporations. Your name is a corporation. Your name was established as a corporation the day you were born. You have a TDA account established in your name, a Treasury Direct account. On the back of your birth certificate, you'll find your account number. Your social security number, without the dashes in it, that's your account. That's your account. That's your Treasury account. And you'll find there's a lot of money in there. A lot more than you can even think or ever even dream of. And it's done to everybody across the board.
You're just a piece of money.
Because they monetized your soul. They monetized you from a spiritual being into a physical being is what they've done. They put a title on you. They made you into an entity, a non-physical thing. Say yes? because a non-physical thing cannot have a contract with a physical thing.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now with society today. They're trying to do away with physical money and get you hooked on to a digital currency, non-physical money. Be a
It just
slave
seems,
to it.
when you go into the army, they try and break down individualism, don't they? So that you're part of the group. Or
Right.
the thing, it's like we've all been sent to boot camp anyway.
Well, it's a long process. You don't understand. This is a game. It's a massive game. This is the Matrix. There's not only people that are awake, there's also agents. There's agents that are awake for the other side. You know, you are playing in a fucking game. This is a game. That's why I said we need to talk about psychological warfare, because people are going around and talking about how hard it is to get information across. Well, a lot of it is ego, either between the person that's presenting the information or even the person you're trying to talk to. It could, or both. Communication skills are horrible, and this is all psychological stuff. That's what it is. It's how you present information to people. And no one ever wants to be wrong. Just understand, it's not you, it's human nature. No one ever wants to be wrong. That's part of ego. Everybody's got that. Sorry, it's everybody. And how you get around the ego to communicate best is by presenting your information. Find a way to present it as a question. When you want people to see that the earth is flat, you need to present to them as not physical. So you make what's not an atom. You show them that everything's atoms. You get them to understand that. What's not an atom? And they start thinking about it. Look inside yourself and around. What's not an atom? What's not an atom? Everything has an atom in it. You make them see that, and you go in further. How is everything? What's physical? You're not standing on something that's physical. You're standing on something that's moving. Vibration. And it's just being held together by different speeds or strengths of current.
Frankie's put in the chat room, we haven't been taught how to think, just how to repeat.
Right. So you present the question and then show them your argument. If you give them a question first, what this does is it naturally goes around the mechanism in the brain that puts up a defensive barrier in the brain to receiving information. It's a trick. It's a all chemical trick. It's a mind trick. See? I got information into your head without you giving me a fight. I got you to think about it without you giving me any kind of fight. You can't. How do you fight a question? It puts the mind into a passive state of receiving information. See, this is psychological.
Well, as Frankie just said, we're not thinking for ourselves, are we? We're not thinking of it for ourselves.
Right.
We're not thinking for ourselves.
So what happens is when we're trying to push information, we're spending a lot of energy. Yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff, and it's burning a lot of current and time, but it's not getting through because it's not being presented in a way that people will just receive it. It's just bouncing off blocked ears. Their defense mechanisms went up. They weren't willing to listen. Nothing went in. Nothing sticks. They go on to have a nice day. They forget who you are in 20 minutes. This is programming one-on-one.
It's numbers, aren't we?
Yeah. And the only reason I'm outside of it is because I worked all the angles of it. They taught me how to do it. I worked for the fucking car dealerships doing the same thing. I worked for Hoover Vacuum for a minute. I worked for the phone companies. I worked for the banks. I worked for the car dealerships, door to door to your home, selling insurance. Thousands of personalities and thousands of people's homes have I been into, and it's all the same stories. Paint the face, change the hair, change the eyes, SimCity. There's a set amount of code personalities, and there's only a set amount of experiences available. Especially when you go out in Kansas, everybody's a fucking farmer, or the husband's a farmer, and the wife's a banker, a school teacher, or works in the kitchen at the school, or you know, that story repeats over and 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 over. You hear it everywhere. It's programming. No one ever fucking lives. What are you living for? To buy stuff that you don't fucking need, that you throw in the trash. You traded your current, which is your tithing, your tithe, your flow, your ebb and flow, your current, currency, your physical energy. You exchanged it for something physical, so you could buy something physical in the physical world. That's how Baal gets you into this program, makes you want things in the physical world, and you spend your time trying to get money to buy the thing you think you need or want.
Yeah, well, we're starting to think now, aren't we?
Yeah. So all these things are being presented to your eyes, and it doesn't matter if you feel good or bad about it. That's why it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you feel. You feel, you lose, you feel. Because you acted. You see that? When all you're supposed to do is just try to walk this line down the middle and just view this fucking show and walk this line on this timeline until your time runs out. You're supposed to stay on that line, but you get distracted left field or right field. But I think it doesn't matter if you feel good or bad about either one. It sends you off, and then you reboot. You come back to center, and you're like, okay, I got this. And you think you got control of your life, and then everything goes to hell, and you're off from one field to the other. You spend all your time getting back to the center. When all it's about the whole time is just staying center. Just standing. That's what it's all about, is just standing. Experiencing whatever the hell you're experiencing. That's yours to experience. That's your part of consciousness to experience. You chose to experience that part. That's why some people, they remember things about their life, deja vu. They viewed the aspect, or they accepted the invite, and they saw what was going to happen before they went to decide to experience it. Because consciousness decided to accept the invite of the physical parents, which is them having sex. That means having a baby. And then you're physically crowned into reality head first. You crowned, you made kings and queens into this reality. A crown. Look at your heart. The heart has a crown on it. The oil valves over the top of your heart make a crown. So you have a crown on your heart. Because your reality is based on the feelings of your heart. How amazing is that?
I think it's something a lot of flat earthers realise, but not most of the world.
No. So your feelings are based, so your reality is based on the feelings of your heart. And then your heart makes your mind feel negative or positive. And it's your free will to decide what you feel.
But that most of us don't realise that.
No. No, they're not trained to. No one's trained to think like this, really, at all. this is from experience and from the life I've led and from my work history and what I've done for work. And the way I grew up and everything, all my experiences are compiled to what I'm presenting right now, as easily as I possibly can without going into numbers and some of the other things. But everything is a number anyway. So you're a vessel and you have low jack, but you think it's third eye, but it's not. They're not presenting it completely correctly. They're giving you half truth. Yes, you have spiritual eyes, but it's two spiritual eyes. You have a pineal and a pituitary gland. So you have 4 eyes, not 3. See, it's a half truth. They're telling you have 1, but you have 2. So you have a red eye spiritual and you have a blue eye spiritual. And Yeshua, Christ, said, sheep, lambs, walk the left-hand path, correct? Left-hand path. And the left hand is ran and operated by the right eye, which is the creation eye, which is your blue eye. So your right eye is blue and your left eye is red, which is why the school system forces you to write right-handed instead of left-handed, or they condemn people that write left-handed. I was left-handed at birth, and they forced me to write right. So you can start seeing and understanding why the system is the way it is when you understand how the brain works and what happened to language skills. And when you understand metaphysical sight, then you can look at language and look how it was written then and look how it was written today. It's backwards. And that's why. It's to switch the sides of the brain and what side you're operating in. So you would be thinking in logic instead of creation. And cutting you off from creation by putting you into left-minded thinking, red thinking, logic, which is masculine energy, fire red, and your Roman fucking eagle, which is Enlil. So Enlil is the fire, and Enki is the water. And then you start looking around and you start lining who's the water, who's the fire. Go through every religion, who's water, who's fire.
Talking about colors, red and blue. Where's the yellow?
Yeah. Yeah. I tan. I get really dark. I look like a blue-eyed Mexican by the end of the summer. I get really dark, but I'll go
We
really
go
light
out in
dark.
the sun though. Now, aren't we? We're up all night now. We're night children.
Yeah, but if I go outside and I don't burn. I get dark. I don't burn. I get copper dark. I get dark as copper. I don't burn. I don't get blotchy red. I don't burn. I don't like being outside when it's really hot. I get sick when it's really hot. My body does not like the heat. It likes the cold. I like it when it's cold outside. I like being outside when it's cold.
This stuff about mind warfare, though, they're probably using these to mess around with us as well, aren't they?
Well, yeah. So like I said, you got pituitary and pineal, which is your secondary lenses into the meta world, which you don't have access to because of calcium, unawareness of how to get into them, or just the fact you even have them. they root together to a nerve in the back of your gland, in the back here, in the back of your brain. There's a sacral gland right next to your cortex, and that has a gland that goes into the back of the roof of your mouth, and that's the on button or the release valve for your sacral gland to release the oil that's in your sacral gland. And that oil secretes into your brain. And when you om and you pray, it causes your mind to vibrate. So you pick up frequency better. You're tuning in. And it causes your body to vibrate. And the vibration, literally the name of Yah changes the vibrational state of your body. It's the neutral state. So everybody feels so happy. And that's why you're supposed to say, when you're having a bad thought, you're calling his name, the thought goes away. It's a reboot. It's a way to reset. You don't have to finish your thoughts. You don't have to think about whatever thoughts just constantly come into your head. You don't even know if they're yours. You don't know if they're underneath a song or being planted in there from a picture you're seeing in a commercial on the television, or some random person, if you're a targeted individual. Some target, you don't understand the things that can be done. You can plant ideas in random people. You can imprint on them an idea, and they don't even realize they've been imprinted. I do it all the time to random people. I walk up on random people and imprint them with what is not an atom. I tune them into the idea that everything is a current, and then I walk off. I don't say not much else. I just do that for fun. I do too. What's not an atom? I walk up on random strangers and prove to them that the earth is flat in less than 2 minutes, and then I walk off.
What, you leave them with the thought?
Yeah, that's it. I imprint the thought in their head, and I walk off. I don't even give them my name. I don't care if they talk to me again. I'm imprinting thoughts in people's brains all day when I walk around. It's my hobby.
You know so much, though, isn't it, Matt?
Huh?
You know so much.
It's
Matt, nobody in the chat room's clever, or researchers aren't clever, or we all work hard, but Matt's a really clever guy. Aren't you, Matt?
I know that the more I know, the more I don't know. That's what I do know. I'll leave it at that. So your sight is red and blue, and then you have your cortex and the sacral, and then your spinal cord receives a signal. The cortex is catching the vibrations from around you and sending signal from you. It's your consciousness is right there, and it's called the reptilian brain. Right above your spine is a cortex. They don't teach. This is your processor. All the information goes through your eyes, it goes through your nose, it goes through your taste buds, and it all goes to your cortex. And then it decides what you're going to do with that information. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing that our bodies work the way they do. It's absolutely amazing, really, the whole thing.
So yeah, so even the sound your ears receive, all these nerves tie together in your cortex. They all send that information to right there, which is your CPU unit, which is your free will. Your consciousness is right there. That's it. What you decide, that's it. So everything's coming out your eyes and your ears, and you're smelling it and seeing it and all this, and your hairs are picking up on frequencies. That's what your hair's for, is to pick up on current and frequency. That's why your hair stands up on the back of your neck when people are staring at you, eyeballing you. And the whole time, you're just supposed to be neutral. The mastery of alchemy is to experience everything. If the fucking nuke is going off, that's great. What are you going to do about it? What can you possibly do about a nuke going off? You're going to put it out? You're going to cover it? You know, you can't do, that's the point of this, is you can't do nothing. You have no control over anything. The only thing you can do is think carefully about what you're going to do. You see? You can't do anything about what's going on. All you can do is think carefully about what you're going to do. Because you have no control if you get hit by a bus. You save all your money for retirement. Somebody could rob you, shoot you. You could get hit by a fucking car. The bank could go out of business. A flood comes through and takes your city. A hurricane, a tornado, whatever. What control do you have over your reality for real? You don't have any. The idea of control is ridiculous. It's a con job. Just like the Constitution and the contract.
They're all things that a lot of other people are proud of, though, aren't they, for their country? And if only they realised.
Yeah.
They stand up for these things and they feel so proud, but if only they realised it's all a lie. It's all to control you.
Yep. And celebrities are idols. Idols for your eyes, idol eyes for your eyes. Celebrities are for your eyes, or another word for that would be an icon. Icon. They're there to distract you and waste your time. Bullshit. Give you a puppet show. The world is a stage. An illusion. Nothing matters. It's only what you feel matters that matters. That's the end of the day. That's it. You know? You can feel whatever you want. You can feel happy or sad about anything. It's your free will to choose how you feel. But be consciously aware of the fact of the matter is this my feelings? Am I free will freely feeling this feeling? Is it my idea to feel this feeling? Am I choosing to feel what I'm feeling? It's a choice. You are not your feelings. They don't control you. A lot of times they're impulses that are implanted on you. So be aware of what you're feeling, but respond and think critically about your feelings before you choose to speak words or act on them. Because the idea is they're trying to implant thoughts in your head, because if they can get you to think about the things they want you to think about, then your body will commit itself to physical action from a spoken word to do an act based on the thought that they stuck in your head. Is it your thoughts that you're thinking? Are you fully aware of what you think about? And are they actually your ideas, or are they suggestions or triggers from hearing a song or somebody, some celebrity icon sold you a line on and advertised a product to get you to buy? The whole time, it's about getting you to feel something, to feel insecure, to feel less, to feel need more. You got to have this to be happy. Always feeling something. And then selling you a product. Commit your time to, your tithe, your current, your soul. To exchange your spiritual time for physical money, for the thing that you were told you needed because they hooked you on a feeling. It fish hooked you on a feeling and you emotionally reacted and you bought the product. How do you like that?
I know where you're coming from on that. I figured some time ago, with thoughts, I found out that, or at least I thought 80% of the things I was thinking and feeling were not mine at all. Maybe even higher, maybe even 90% was not me
Right.
at all.
Right. Which comes into the next part. Once you understand what this fucking thing is, and it is a game, and it's your free will, when you apply and acknowledge creation and what your part is in this goes away. That battle up here goes away. Because you have freely chosen to be about understanding this place than partaking in it. You chose to understand it and then to partake in what's going on and causing feelings and a ruckus. You're just sitting back and looking at it. And because you did that, that fight up here goes away because you're feeding into consciousness and a relationship with God, Creator, Yahweh. Whoever wants to get technical out there.
Yeah, it took me about 2 years to try to empty, or what I think I've emptied out to be me, and I'm still not even sure that.
Exactly. Yes. That's how they get you to commit the physical act, is by planting thoughts in your head. And that's why money is moon-eyed. See, moon-eyed, add an O, and ED, moonied. You've been moonied. We're children of the moon, and we've been moon-eyed. See? We're little fishies swimming in a fucking sea, and we've been fish hooked by our emotions and sold a fucking line, a phony, phonetic fucking fish story, a rose, and a crucifixion. Isn't that some funny fucking shit? When you see how bad fucking 7 billion people got fucking baited. You got fish hooked. Oh my God, we got fish hooked.
Yep, we're just cruise a fiction.
Isn't that some funny shit? Right there in your fucking
we
face.
talked about this yesterday, didn't I? That what it is that Matt, Santos is the same. Other people do it where they're looking at the words come from other words, and so they're just manipulating the words, and you're using those words and don't realize what you're using. So it's about fiction.
Right. They hooked you on a fish story, a fictional story. And then you look at the story of Christ Jesus or Christ Yeshua, and then you fucking see this irony of the fact that Yeshua was hung on a tree and the sun shines on the ground and you get a crucifix on the ground. You get it, you see? So from the feet of Yeshua to the ground would be a crucifix, and it would mirror opposite of the tree, of him hanging on a tree. It'd be the mirror opposite. A mockery, a reflection. So in Satan's kingdom, everything is inverted. You got to see how it can be inverted. And that's a shadow, and that's an inversion of truth. That's a reflection. That's mocking it right in your face. So
It seems to like doing that, don't they? Like a lot of people don't realize that we're still living under the Roman rule.
Right. We never haven't been under their rule. The United States was it's a slave plantation, a corporation that's owned by the banksters, which are dissemblers, and they're Satan worshippers, and they fucking dedicated themselves to the pedos and the pirates of the Queen and the pedo Pope. Competition is a sin, according to J.D. Rockefeller.
I mean, Wilson's into this. Wilson, he's not around at the moment, but you know, he was telling us the same thing. You know, like the television's just another arena for them. It's an arena.
Mm-hmm.
The same
They
thing.
say,
really?
You give the people bread and a show. You give them a circus and some food. That's the Roman law. Give them a distraction and give them food. And you'll have the crowds and masses. You'll have because the Romans believe this. And this is why I do things the random ass way I do. Most everybody on my Facebook page I've met randomly because of doing what I call it baiting or trolling or billboarding. I randomly tag websites with animated video slideshows of my work, and it causes people to have mental breakdowns in the right places. I've seen it happen live. And the reason why is because their soul recognizes the work. Their soul recognizes, the soul already knows. The soul knows truth. You may not be awake to truth, but soul knows truth when it sees it. Bang. That's why people have mental breakdowns when they see the numerical work or series work or people's work like that. They have mental breakdowns because they're seeing the truth. And it causes them to fucking shock, and they don't even realize they're shocking a lot of times. And they don't know how to react to the person that gave them that information, so a lot of times they'll never talk to them again. So when you pile it on, you need to really pile it on. You need to understand that part too. When you give them, when somebody's waking, you can't just give them a little spoonful of sugar at this point. You got to give it all. Like putting a bazooka in their brain. And that's why the question, what is not an atom? Once they see that, the brain snaps and they can't, that's the best question to present the information from right there. I mean, they even got a TV show, Atom's Family Values. I mean, how funny is that? Everything's in the value of an atom. It's right there in your face.
A lot of it's like that, though, isn't it? We're watching it, or even our children are watching it and don't realise.
If no one has anybody seen,
it's
like
exactly
osmosis.
what work is tying in with all is atom. It's through the whole language of everything, actually. All the languages. It's so rooted into everything in the atom, in atom.
Yeah.
And it's all vibration in that sense.
Yeah. And once the mind sees that, for most parts, people don't go back. They don't. You're in a 600-year con job. They slaughtered parents and kept children and raised slaves. And then they put them on a slave plantation that used to be called the Turtle Islands. People think Christopher Columbus is an icon. He's not a fucking icon. He's a mass murderer. If you go look into the history, he killed the fucking locals. He slaughtered millions of them and enslaved the survivors. 8 million people he fucking butchered. Him and his fucking army. Under the approval of the king, because Indians were considered beasts of the earth, without soul or without consciousness. based on Roman law. They slaughtered off the people here so they could turn them into slaves and create a fucking farm, a slave country, a country of slaves.
In a sense, the Jews were slaughtered by the millions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jews.
Here.
There.
Yeah. Grand Canyon was the type. If you go and investigate, I stumbled on this stuff. But if you really go and investigate and do your homework about the Grand Canyon, you'll be convinced of what I speak. Inside the Grand Canyon is the burial tomb of Jacob, who is Israel. It's under the Grand Canyon. How's that for $1 million?
How did you get to that bit then?
Oh, I have a news channel that I saw a link. I saw that this. What happened was a private individual was trying to hunt for gold in the Grand Canyon, and they found these openings in the bottom of the. In the bottom, he's walking the river, and in the bottom, he found these doorways or these huge caverns, and he noticed that they were actually. They were caved. They were carved. They weren't natural. They were cut. So he goes inside and he finds a burial chamber, and he finds Hebrew text and Egyptian statues and cultural items and icons and hieroglyphs on the walls and whatnot. Ancient Egypt, ancient Egyptian culture. And the bodies in there, the bodies that were buried in that tomb had red hair. They had red hair. And they were big people. They were giants, 12 feet in stature. Giants of men. So the Smithsonian is a corporation that is controlled by the Vatican to conceal and destroy evidence that contradicts evolution or the understanding of history that the Vatican doesn't want the public to understand. That's what they're for, is to conceal, not reveal, to conceal and hide, and non-disclose, so they can control the writing of history. That's not to reveal it, it's to control it. Anything that contradicts, they destroy it, or it goes locks up in their vault. Same as the Vatican.
Bless you there.
And your placenta goes in a vessel and is in a ship, it's in a jar, and it's in the vault end of the Vatican. It gets sent from the hospital to the Vatican. The hospitals are corporations that are owned by the Vatican. That's why hospitals have Catholic.
I heard that placentas are worth over $1,000 a plate. People eat them. That's what I heard.
Right, but also at the same time, the Vatican is going to keep your DNA on file so they can have a title over your body. They have it encapsulated in a vessel, because that's what you are. You yourself are a vessel. When you stand in court, the judge has 3 consciousnesses, 3 titles that he operates, 3 hats. He plays all 3 of these at once. You're playing 3-card monte against the judge. You gotta force him in a corner, and you gotta get him to remove 2 of his hats. So he only has the one he's wearing. He can only play 1 consciousness to you. So he starts with 3, and you need to get him to remove 2 of them. And how you know you're doing this is when you get him to ask for a recess. When you get him to ask for a recess, he leaves the courtroom. When he leaves the courtroom, he's clearing his consciousness. And he's removing one hat. And whatever was said in the courtroom before the recess, he has no mind to, because he cleared his consciousness of it. And now he's under a different title, a different hat. Now he's starting round 2 with a new hat and a new consciousness, and he has no idea what you talked about before recess. His 3 titles are that he operates under are steward. He's a steward of the land. He operates a trust. He's a steward. Laws of land. He is a admiral in the British Navy, and he is an ecclesiastic's priest to Saturn. That's why the black robes. The courtroom itself is set up in the it's set up to symbolize a ship. That's why you have to cross the barrier and step on deck. You're boarding a ship. It's a game. The whole world's a fucking stage. How you get him to leave the courtroom once you understand what's going on, now that you see this consciousness game and it's 3-card money you're playing against the judge, and he has to leave. How you get him to leave is using terms that make him acknowledge you as living. Blood, life, flow. These are trigger words. He can't acknowledge living, blood. He can't acknowledge you as a live man. He's supposed to be acknowledging you as a British seaman, right? Seaman. S-E-M-E-N, seaman. In the British Navy, you're just a beast. You're a seaman. You're not at work. They're taking care of you. That you work for them. It's a sick fucking game they're playing. It really is. They're saying that you're just a corpse, an urn, a vessel, floating in the meta sea. See, the waters. You're floating in the sea adrift, and you have no consciousness. So they need to take care of you. They got you. Uncle Sam's your ward. He's going to be your guardian and make sure and look out for your best interests. And they insure and bond you for billions of dollars with a birth certificate, which is a Treasury direct account. I'm still working out understanding how to claim ownership over this stuff, but it is being done regularly. I don't want to talk much on the process of it. Yeah, there you go, right there. And that's how you know the war of the eagle and the serpent. See, you go and look at countries that don't have Roman influence on them, which there are not many. They don't have eagles on their flags. They only have serpents. They're not conquered nations. And countries that use gold as their standard of payment, North Korea, Iran, a few holdouts, the ones we're at war with right now, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, all of them was gold. See? Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, al-Bashir, those are all gold dollar nations. See that? We're at war with gold dollar nations. It's not our country that wants to be at war with them. It's the bankers that are at war with those countries so they can establish international IFM banks, International Finance, the IMF, Monetary Fund, IMF banks. They want to establish IMF banks in those gold dollar nations. So they go in there and bomb them and then offer them the money to rebuild their countries as if they can put a bank in there. After they bomb them. So they can bond them. They want to bomb them so they can bond them. But first, they got to make the people of the United States hate them or fear them. So, watch this stuff. Go and investigate your currency, American currency, the history of. Go get all your money. Go and investigate pictograph pictures of all the currency, especially the $20 bill, today's, and you fold it a specific way, you'll get a secondary image, which is the Twin Towers coming down from picture folding. That's a Roman technique. That's how they sent secret pictures to each other thousands of years ago, so they're very good at it. They used special ink and light and shading techniques so that different images appear based on light, the way you hold the paper, or the way you fold the money. Or you roll or move the money in a different image. Holographic pictures will appear if you know how to do it correctly. On every currency.
Truth right in your face, telling you what they're going to do, and you don't even know it. They're telling it to you.
Because this is occult behavior 101, Halian dialect. Alien dialect stipulates several things. The first understanding is in Halian dialect is if you make the public aware of your plans, silence is consent. Silence is consent. That's the first trick of understanding Halian dialect. Your silence is your agreeing with it. And you vote, you agree, you consent. You give consent to whatever happens. You gave consent, you voted. Doesn't matter what it is, you voted, you consented, you voted for that person, you did this. It's your fault, you consented to it. You agreed to it. Why are you mad? You said you were good with whatever that guy's gonna do. So why are you mad in the first place? It's consent. So silence is consent under Halian understanding of the language, and they thoroughly believe in cosmic karma. They thoroughly believe in trying to trick people into doing their dirty work for them so that their hands are clean. So the biggest key to their tactics are problem, reaction, solution. There's your triangle. That's why I understand the triangle as well as I do. Look at that. And I told you what kind of work I did, and I'm showing you triangle. And all my math is based on what series? Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, so far, I'm figuring out the square. Chris is figuring out the circle, and you're figuring out the triangle. What is right in between the two?
And FPV,
which is
something else as well.
Yeah, it's at the bottom even, so there's another level in this.
So, and this tactic applies to anything. When you understand the meaning, the well-meaning of those words, problem, you know, you can do word assimilation on the word problem. Chaos. Chaos is another word for problem. Disturbance. See? So word assimilation on words that mean the same thing. So when you're receiving new information, you don't quite understand the word you're looking at, maybe even the idea of replacing that word with another word that means kind of the same thing will help trigger understanding. Replacing words with assimilated values. That helps too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I talk to people about some of the stuff I go through, synchronization or whatever, I have to replace words so that they understand or that they get in order for me to come across.
Right. And do that. And nobody ever does that when they're receiving information. And I tell people the mirror. When you understand a mirror and the Trinity and how they work things, by working your received information, you're making a triangle of energy. You're working it backwards and forwards to a point. So you look at it front ways, and then you look at it the other way. And you'd be surprised at how things pop out at you when you look at things backwards.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I went and I took the whole alphabet A through Z, and I did all capital letters, and I thought about the hieroglyphs, and I used the letters as hieroglyphs, like A is woman, B is reflection, C is listening, D is moon, so forth and so on.
Keep going, Chris.
Keep going, Chris.
Mm.
Now you're asked to keep going, you can't. It was interesting. Carry on, Chris.
But I get the circles, the square, and the triangle. Very basically, when I first got into trying to find myself, I noticed that everything moves in circles, 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 circles. Everything flows in a circle. Everything completes in a circle, and everything that's foundation is square. In a triangle, I noticed I took a 4-point star made out of copper wire, and I figured out that if you fold it up and twist it, or you take I used copper wire to make a triangle. I folded it up and twisted it; it would turn into a 5-point star. And when I sometimes when I meditate, I'll if anybody knows in Florida about Coral Castle, and of course you know Stonehenge. Well, this is before I upon flat Earth, so in my mind, I would be in the Coral Castle inside of Stonehenge, in the Bermuda Triangle with the Eiffel Tower. That would be my antenna for me to send out as if in a prayer like, and try to pray to God and protect people, and but I used to envision encompassing the entire world as a ball back then before I pawned flat Earth. And now what I do it where the antenna I use to send out the energy and it hits the dome and it kind of umbrellas over. Yep.
Back presenting his picture. Oh, he's muted. You're muted. Can't change it. Do you want to explain to people what that is, Chris? I'm sorry, Matt. Get the right person. Matt.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously you're seeing a circle here, but all right, set this down. What that picture represents is a 3-color code, triangle 3, because everything's positive, negative, or neutral. Alchemical state. Everything is positive, negative, electric. That's alchemy.
Yellow is neutral.
Everything's positive, negative, or neutral. 3. So everything's a 3-phase system in reality. It doesn't matter what it is that you're looking at. You just have to see what part of the 3-phase system does it operate in. Okay. So on that, what I did was I took a protractor and I measured out 10 degrees around protractor, which is 10 degrees of the circle, and you get 36 points around a center point. And you can't, when you're doing this kind of spherical understanding, you cannot work your way out in. You have to work from the middle out. You have to start from the center. Work to the center. You have to start from it. And what this is showing you, my work shows that there's a center of source, there's a center of sound. And that color code, what happened, you're seeing how around the outside edge, each number was labeled 3, 6, or 9. And they're color coded. But what I did was, I'll put the picture up again in a second. The 6 I didn't label in yellow, I labeled it in purple because it's hard to see yellow. So I labeled it purple. So the 3 group is numbers that are or add up to their personality 1, 4, or 7. So 1, 4, and 7 are blue, and any numbers that give you a personality of 1, 4, and 7. 55, 5 and 5 is 10. There is no 0. 55 is blue because the personality of it is 1. So it's a blue number. And or 4, 22, the personality of 22 is 4, so on. So this is how you get a blue state of personality system on numbers. It doesn't matter how big the group of numbers is. When you add this applies, it doesn't change. It never changes. It goes on forever this way. Everything breaks down to these states. And 2, 5, and 8, those numbers are yellow because the sum of them is 15, and 1 and 5 is 6, and 1 and 4 is 7. 1 and 4 is 7 is 12. 1, 2 is 3. See, so that's your blue state of numbers. 2, 5, and 8 is your yellow state of numbers. Your electron state, your neutral state for blue, your electron state for yellow, and your radian state for red. 3, 6, 9 is 18, and the personality 1, 8, 9. 18 is 9. So you get there is no 0. Circle guy. I love the circle guy. I do. I love you, but there is no circle. Because there's no 0. The 0 was actually invented by the Persians. Go on. The Persians are the Khazarians, and their descendants are today's Jews. The 1% that own all the money. So that circle, I labeled out the numbers. I numbered all the points around the outside, 1 through 36, and then I gave each number its coding for what color it would be under what I just said, how you get the colors. And you'll see the 3, 6, 9 code around the outside is symmetrical to the center. Everything is the same. It doesn't change. You see your tree of life. See how it makes a tree of life in the center? You see the tree of life coming together?
Right. So basically, the psychological warfare is that we should have been learning things like Matt showing us, and they're teaching us all the wrong things. It's still warfare, isn't it? Because they're teaching us all the wrong things rather than teaching us what we really live on and live in.
If you don't know what you're living in, how can you even know what you are? It's like they talk about, okay, so when you, like communism, they say they believe their belief system goes along the lines of the benefit of the many over the rights of the individual. That's a hardcore dogma belief of their system of thinking. See? Now I'll show you the flaw. The rights of the individual for the many. Look at that, I turned it backwards. If you take the rights from the individual, the many are going to lose theirs. Because the many are the individuals. So they're showing you the trap. They attack an individual. They're trying to get a label on you by putting you through a filtration process called vetting. They vet us out in layers. You know, just like this is how they do it. First, they'll take away all the disabled veterans' rights to have guns, or the people who have payees, financial beneficiaries who handle their money. They can't have guns. They're mentally incapacitated. They can't possibly handle a gun. Anybody that gets in an argument or domestic violence, they can't have a gun. Anybody with a mental illness or had a mental breakdown or is being prescribed antidepressants of any kind, those are psychotropic drugs, and you can't have a gun either. You see, the list of people that can have a gun keeps getting smaller and smaller. Vetting out the people who can or cannot have a gun. That's their ultimate goal. And then just go in and take the ones away from the ones that do by putting them in the police states like they're causing these weather manipulations so they can go and kick doors in and take people's guns now. And they do it in Texas. They flooded Texas. Are you fucking kidding me? They don't want to have a civil war fight. They just flooded Texas. Now Texas needs money to rebuild. They're going to be bent right over backwards right now. Think the insurance company's going to pay for that? See? Domino effect, man, friend. Butterfly. You know what's going to happen. See, I
that some of the hurricanes that have come before left as if the hurricane came yesterday. They've not been rebuilt.
The water's been contaminated from you don't understand. Like there's so much I read an article 6-8 months ago about nuclear waste from Fukushima winding up on the shore in California. So I would say that the oceans have gone nuclear. I'm pretty sure I could say that safely. That there's probably the whole ocean is contaminated with nuclear waste. They don't want you to know that. And these manipulated hurricanes have now destroyed drinking water. Think about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been told that if you take a drop of mercury, just one drop of mercury, and put it in the ocean, now the whole ocean is contaminated.
Wow. Well, that's a done deal. They just flooded Texas. That's an oil and treatment facility plant for all kinds of things. You know, right there in the Gulf, they do a lot of chemical production down there, Louisiana, all that Gulf area. And that's what I was talking about a month ago. I was telling people a month ago they wanted to flood the Gulf. They want to turn it into a non-inhabitable area so they can produce algae oil in the Gulf. And oh, look, now what? I think like the enemy, I know what the hell they're doing. People get mad about what I have to say, but it doesn't really matter to me because it don't matter. I know how they think. I know how their mind works. So I know what they're going to do because they're unpredictable. I mean, they are predictable and they don't have the ability to be unpredictable, I meant to say. They're programmed. They're programmed in their thinking. They do things repetitively and occultly and ritualistically. They do everything by the numbers. They believe in the numbers and they kill by the numbers. Better believe it.
Slave by the numbers, yeah. The whole military uniform is a ritual on its own, completely tied into their whole bullshit. And that they make all the soldiers a ritual offer in a special way that it has a particular meaning for so-called the higher ones. And that Iron guy told that oracles and something. What was that? Michael. I don't know anymore. It's too long ago. Orange and Oracles. That particular series of him. 10-hour videos. Oracle and Origins or something. I don't know anymore.
Yeah. Yes, they manipulate the frequencies in the air around you, and these are all these are is binary codes, zeros and ones that are floating in the fucking air, and your brain picks up on them, and they become suggestions in your fucking head, and you can't tell what's coming from in you or coming from outside of you because it's planted in your head, and then you got to think about the thought, and people don't realize their thoughts aren't always their thoughts; they're mostly implants. That's where the battle takes place. You're getting this duality between the world and yourself, man and creation, and you can't hear God speaking to you from your heart. You can't hear consciousness telling you, hey, this is the experience that you're experiencing. You should do this. You should do that. How many times you hear somebody say, I should have listened to my gut?
Michael Tsario, Origins and Oracles, Atlantis, Alien Visitation, Genetic Manipulation, etc., etc., etc. There's a whole series of a whole shitload of information.
Yeah.
Kind of how he describes it is he found kind of a lot of pieces, what is from the past, what is still telling a kind of story in here. And yeah, the context is just kind of lost here with the whole ball and alien stuff still, but we can still tie it in how the whole manipulation stuff is still working. I mean, there is definitely this occult behind the screen, hidden as occult means. And,
So Siri, so what this tells us, that mathematical formula that I figured out the other day, what tells us is that there's 5 phases, there's 5 dimensions to sound. See that? Because there's the linear plane of sound is 18 notes, 18 hertz waves, right? And then you need 4 for dimensions. So that's 4 for the dimensions of time and space. And that gives you 18 right there. See that? I mean, that gives you 70. That gives you 72. 18 times 4. So you go from 18 scale waves to cubing it, making it dimensional sound, going from linear plane sound to dimensional sound, 18 times 4. See that? But then you're multiplying 5 by the elemental factors of Earth, wind, water, spirit, fire, Earth itself, 5, the elemental factors, times the 72, and you get the full circle. So you cube the wave, and then you got 5 types of sound. Is that on a center point? That's the 6 point. I mean, what? Do you see what I'm seeing?
almost.
Because the sound waves I'm only producing, the one I got right now, the one I showed you, the 36, that's only half of the 72. So you got to double that. So that's 5 degrees circle. A 5 degree circle gives you 72 points.
I'm first with 3 times 1.5.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you take 3, which is the whole, times half of self, which is 1.5. 3 times 1.5, and then you multiply by 2 for duality. Yeah. So 3 is the whole. 1.5 is half of self. So you times it. Right, you get 4.5. And you times that by opposition, which is 2. And you times it by duality, which is 2. But it's the same thing. See, that's why I didn't understand that part. So it's 2, 2.
Yeah, I get it.
And then you multiply 4.
72.
and then you multiply 5. And then you get your circle.
I see 445.
Say what?
I see double
Matt,
Yeah.
Sideways has said in the chat room, can you ask Matt which kind of sound waves he is referencing?
Scalar sound waves, the Hertz waves. Sound waves in motion are they move in sound waves that move in elliptical motion are called scalar waves. And there's people that use scalar waves and they use cymatic sound to take pictures. And that's if you've never heard of that, cymatic, cymatic, cymatic sound. They use cymatic sounds and they put sand on a plate and they vibrate the sound waves using cymatic. They make art with it. It's pretty amazing stuff that the pictures they're coming out with. You'll recognize a lot of them based on ancient religions. You'll see them. They are honoring sound. They understood the quantum physics of reality and the relationships of all the things that in the systems that make this place this hologram that we live in. It's a fucking hologram.
He wants to ask another question, Matt. Matt, he wants to ask another question. He said, HZ and scalar is different. Magnetic scalar and electric scalar.
Yeah.
What are you talking?
Well, I'm still teaching myself a lot about sound waves. I'm teaching myself my way through this. I'm only at this part here. What I'm understanding is what my numbers are telling me. I'm going by what my numbers tell me. But then realizing that everything is a positive, a negative, a neutral. When you're going from this state of understanding of things and everything's atomic moving matter, then you have to understand that there's matter and there's negative matter, there's antimatter. So there's your opposition. So you have the good and the bad. There's everything. And you have white noise and you have black noise. See that? You have white noise too. White noise is a negative noise. So there's positive and negative sound. So there's positive and negative sound. That's 2. And the positive and negative sound can be in a positive or negative state, antimatter and matter. That's 4. And then there's a neutral. That's 5. That's 5 kinds of sound. Or 5. That's 5. That's 5. But sound is dimensional, so you have to cube the sound wave. That's 4. And you multiply the scale of sound, 18, which is what I'm being presented. That's what the scale of sound is 18 Hertz waves. And you cube it by 4, you get 72. So you've cubed sound into a scalar sound wave. It's you're presenting it in a spherical form instead of a linear plane. You're not living on a line. You're living in a current. You're living inside a sound. The shape of it's open for debate. But everything in this reality is based on the shape of the first sound. So you get this point of 72. I'm showing you the basis sound is 8, and then you're putting it in the dimensions with 4. But there's 5 elements, 5 parts of elements that make up creation and earth that we walk in: water, soil, fire, spirit, wind. All the elements, 5 elementals. So what I'm getting
Matt, show your hand, how you did it on your hand then. The 5 elements then. There's 5 because we've got 5 fingers.
Right.
Wind,
5.
fire,
Earth, wind, fire, water, spirit. But that shouldn't even be called soul because it takes away from understanding. From now on, can we say mother? Can we say mother?
You want?
That's really what it is. Or matter. Matter would be better. How about matter? Because that's what it is. It confuses things for people. It's water. Really, what soul is and what it really equates to it's mitochondrial water molecules. That's what it is. You're all water. You're all made out of water. You're 97% water. Soul, spirit is it's water based.
That's why you are between waters, in the waters. Everything is water. Everything flows. Even the earth. It's kind of growing as a tree towards the north.
Yes. Everything.
I guess
everything grows to the middle. It goes to the middle. It's contracting. It went out, and now it's all coming back.
I'm still figuring out what these three-dimensional magnetic fields are. And yeah, I'm trying to render a movie. It's almost ready. The last frames.
Is that based on the numbers I gave you?
No, not yet, but I'm gonna put that in there as well. I'm just figuring out how in the hell I can actually see it in the first place, because there's a lot of data, and so far I will put in lines, but the lines wouldn't render. Then I now I'm trying triangles in a transparent texture, so I can actually kind of look through it, but you will see where the directions are kind of flat towards you, or you're actually looking through between it, in a sense that you don't see them, and then you see kind of how the flow of the energy is. You can see already that you have here a double what is it, a pillar effect between the north and south pillars. They actually extend towards the north and the south beyond our realm. And yeah, there's so much more to find in there. And I'm still struggling to get actually a good lineup of the data, it seems, because I'm missing lines.
Oh, wait. I learned how to screen share. I'll screen share some of these things. I was trying to show that sound wave. Yeah, you guys taught me how to do that the other day.
Station box.
Yeah, I know. Karen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, but I know that one.
Yeah, people.
I didn't even know how many times has that been a headache. I didn't know how to do that until yesterday.
Most people just only of what to share, but not the actual tabs on top of the window, that you can actually select another tab. And in the other tab, you see all the other applications.
Okay, so I'm going to start. This one's good. Can you see that all right?
Yep.
This picture here is a linear plane of presentation of your 18 sound waves. Now, I paired them off with intent, and I also labeled each sound wave with its personality. The sum of the numbers of the sound wave makes the personality. And the personality expresses color of the sound. Now, the pairing I did out here, and this works symmetrically all the way around, the pairing of sounds, the sum of the pair equals the point in the middle. Each one of these sound waves adds to the one it's paired to, and they all equal 1,110 in the middle. And that gives you a pretty interesting idea. This was just a thought I had. It popped into my head. So this is what I got out of doing that.
Yeah.
My mind works very abstract. It's very, I can't even explain it. There's no point in trying. So that one there, I don't know, it came from looking at this. I was like, well, what about this one? I just drew them to a point, and then I said, well, what if I try to angle them to a point? I tried to, this is the next step. This is 36 points. That was only 18. This is 36 points, and the sound waves are paired off in the middle, like that one. They all add to 1,110, 111. There is no 0, 111 in the middle, which would be 3, which is 1/3 of 9, 369. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times itself is 9. And I did the personality on the numbers too. And I also numbered out the positions. I used the number 18, 1 through 18, and I did it twice. You see, I did 1 here and an 18 here, so I counted them backwards and forwards at the same time around the point to create opposition by doing that instead of writing out 36, by writing out 18 twice around the point. You still have 36 points. It just created a duality by using the same set of numbers twice, because I counted them out backwards. See how that works, series?
I see.
All right. Just want to make sure so that's doing it that way. And now this next one, again, is 36 points, and it's the same thing, but I presented it instead of, this is a cube. If you really think about it, this is a cube. So I present the same information in a circle form. So this is a cube, now this is a circle. So again, at 36 points.
Vortex field, so you see that in all the colors.
Yeah. And what I did was I connected the 6s together. See, the purple line is connecting the purple, and the blue is connecting the blue, and the red is connecting the red. So I did that.
Outwards, inwards, in itself actually also. Huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I connected all these colors together, and then I drew a succession line. I wrote them out in order. I drew a line from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 all the way through. There's a line of succession that's attaching them in order. So you have positive, negative, neutral lines. That's 3 lines. But there's a line of succession, 4, to show that the numbers there's an order to this. 4. Right? That's what had me saying, huh? And because there was a few gaps when I was doing this, as far as in the field, it didn't look right. And then when I did the line of succession, it's perfectly symmetrical all the way around. when you look at a triangle, and that's why I go back to what I say about the +1, and I'm always screaming about the +1. You go back to looking at a triangle and see it has 3 points, but that's on a linear plane. It has it has a 4th dimension. It has a vertices in the center of the 3 points. It has a created point in the middle. The unseen point. My mind automatically sees the unseen point and already applies it.
The vantage space.
Yeah. So when you look at a triangle, see that it's 3, yes, but realize there's a point in the middle when you are the triangles you're talking about linear or are they dimensional? You know, it's a big difference.
It's what in the video of Witzak Bentov also was mentioned as a focal point in where you have the black hole what's sucking it in and the white hole where everything is coming out as a continuous band, but it's a refining of the previous stage into the next stage, and that's what the process is doing all the time as a fluent a whole, in a sense that everything has its own part in that particular state.
Right. So next one I'm going to show you is this one is 72 sound waves around one focalized point. 72. I didn't color it in or nothing. I'm going to zoom in on the point a little bit.
Yeah.
You see the cross in the middle?
Yeah.
That's going 5-degree circle. And there's a created cross in the middle. You can see it faintly. But what I did with this one is I counted 36 twice around a point. So you had your duality of 36 and 36. So then I colored this in to kind of see what was going on. Here. See that? I crossed the lines where they're supposed to go, and this is what's happened. That's the eye in the sky. The all eye in the sky.
It's 1/2 of the sphere.
Right. That's only 1/2. After the dual, you're only seeing half the equation here. This is half. I know how to get the rest. I know how to do it. I just haven't figured out how to do it on paper yet. Ha!
I just made a page for your work in my site, so I can actually make it more digital visible. Working out of a black background, for example, with all the colors.
This is using 36. You see how that vortex is right there? That vortex is right there?
Yep.
I took a zoom picture on that center point with a camera. I zoomed right in on it with a good picture, a camera, and this is what happened. This is what you get popping up.
It's really like it's going inwards.
Yeah.
Matt, can I just ask you something? Because we love seeing your work, and we talk to you loads. We even had a very long private hangout yesterday afternoon when you were showing us this. The subject, though, is psychological warfare. So tied in.
This is what. This is tying in. This all ties in. This is showing you how sound works. You're seeing the sound in motion. And this is what television, this is all part of it. They're manipulating sound waves, and you're seeing, I'm showing you how sound waves move, and that they're nothing but binary numbers, and they're being sent around you, and you perceive them based on your feelings and your experience. And they're trying to get you to feel something, and this is how they manipulate it. They try to bend these waves to benefit their interests, get you to do something that benefits their way of thinking. They don't want you.
Is that one of yours? Is that one of your pictures, that one?
Yeah, I drew this.
Matt will have drawn that without moving the pen off the paper. Drawing one, that's one line, isn't it?
Yes, that's one line. That's one consecutive line. That line never comes off the paper. Pen never comes off the paper. That took me a long time. A long time. It's kind of embarrassing. It's really maddening how much time it takes to understand this stuff. And the more you do it, the more you just naturally start understanding because of doing these.
It's drawing the flower of life. Then you actually see how the circles go and what the points are and where the triangles go and how it works in the square and what it does with the square. It's like the circles are the spiritual dynamics working through the square construct of the earth. The earth is the square.
Yeah. See, this is the mock. When I stroked out, when I was 30, I died, and when I came back to, when I was trying to explain what I saw, this is the first mock-up of what I worked out, and it shows how everything correlates through sound. I figured out the correlation through sound. Each month has a frequency. And this is being told to you, but you don't really realize it because the frequency is being expressed. Because each person.
I figured through figuring out that we actually live in a spatial loop. Everything works also through the loop.
Right.
It's when you start a wave for yourself in the middle, it will end all in the middle. It has an interference pattern through itself as well, and that's probably what I see with my own magnetical map as well.
Matt, so what you just said, what that's telling me is that everybody, like the zodiacs, you know, what your sign is, has like Capricorn, Taurus, Cancer, they all have their own specific frequencies, and they know this, and they tune right into that for each specific individual or each specific sign that you're born under has a specific frequency that they tune into. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yep, your aura field. Each sign has a signature aura field, a signature electrical current based on the house of the month, the sign that they're born under, the season and the sign, the times that they're born under. You know, they talk about months, but you realize a month has three portions. It has a mid, or seasons have three portions: mid, early, and late. So just like a month, it has mid, early, and late. Everything breaks down in three. So each house has three different frequencies of sound inside that house. Which is the sign, or Leo, Capricorn, what you're talking about. I call that a house. The house of that sign. Inside that house, it has, the current has, the frequency has three parts. But what I did, this one I got mocked up right here. This is showing you your base scalar waves, your high frequency to your low, what I'm trying to show people is that numbers and sound, you are not being taught right. You're being taught on a line, everything. You're being sent back to the crucifixion story I said earlier, right, Karen? You sold everything on a line.
Yeah.
I'm teaching people how to think about numbers in dimensional form, in spherical form, and make them realize that numbers are not what they are. They are expressing a shape, because the numbers come from the shape. The shapes come first. So this is your base sound of 18 sound waves. Just using 18, and then what I did, I color coded each sound wave, what color it is, and I coordinated the red sound waves to the red, so you get all their pathways of light, all the reds to the reds and to the center, all the blues to the blues and to the center, all the colors. And then you see there's other colors in here: green, orange, and purple. Those are subprimaries, and those are caused by the interactions of the others. When they cross patterns, they're creating the subprimary colors by vibrational state of matter. That's how you get your other colors. And right in the middle is your black. So that's 7 colors you're seeing right there. Inside, 18 positions. And it's all triangles. These are all triangles. Every one of these is triangles. These are triangles to the center. All these sounds are triangulated. I think it's, I had it worked out. It's 165 triangles inside of this circle. That's a lot of triangles. But you can't do this kind of shaping without understanding a color code. That's why people haven't figured this out, because no one ever realized that sound has color. Or how to assign color code to sound and to numbers. Just something I've always done since I was a kid.
Funny how yellow can actually deviate. Kind of the center point there. How do you call that? The horizon, or the plane of inertia.
Yeah. And doing that, I did it over here.
And with the 4 pillars. On both sides. Huh? Well, go back.
Yeah, I'll go back. I got so many pictures, man. Oh, there it is.
You see the triangle of blue, the triangle of red,
Yeah.
and then the 2 opposing of 6, and then the one in the middle of 6. And the one in the middle of 6 is the plane of inertia, and then the 4 yellows opposing each other seem like the 4 pillars in north and south.
Isn't that hot?
Matt, FPV says the video that he sent you.
Yeah.
It might help. Something else.
I have a feeling it will, Tim.
Or if you want to send it to series, he'll play it.
I have it already here, I guess.
Just watch this for one moment, Matt, and then we'll come back to you. Just stick that there. Don't move it. And he's moved it. And series will just play this video because.
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right.
You stay where you are. You keep all your stuff there.
Good afternoon, morning, or
Can
evening.
you see my screen?
While you're hearing this
You're
message,
showing the hangout as well.
Yeah.
mockery.
Stop sharing the hangout. Stop sharing.
Let
And
series
I'm
play it, Matt. Let's you keep your pictures just there, and series will play it.
My hobby
But we
Alright.
can't see it.
problem.
I'm sharing the wrong.
What I discuss and talk about is numerical relations to reality. How everything has
Okay, hold on.
a spectrum.
I'll be right back. I gotta go get the door for Kelly. Kelly just got home.
Okay. There you go. Series has got it now. But this is for you, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on just a second. I gotta use the bathroom.
So we only had a $50 light bill.
We will hang on for a moment.
Pretty awesome.
I'm just going to turn Mike down because we can hear Kelly. I'm on a hangout, babe. Oh, okay. I'm saying nothing, by the way, while we're live. Matt's gone off for a moment there because his girlfriend or wife's come home, should I say. Series, do you want to explain a little bit more about what Matt's talking? Maybe the chat room on, while we're waiting for him to come back.
Well, basically for me, he's doing the triangles in the numbers, and he connects this color and sound with it, and that's each again a complete branch within all the knowledges. So it's kind of tying in the rest of what we find. It's yeah. There's a whole tree of knowledge to be discovered, and it's just more exponential state of ignorance in where we get because we just get more and more questions, and it just takes more time to actually realize the basic of what it is. And you can eat knowledge in a sense, but you have to digest it to actually get an understanding of it, of what actually brought the knowledge, all the whys, instead of only the hows. That's kind of what we get through education, only the hows and never the whys, so that we never will understand anything, but we can very good carry out the job. And yeah, stimulating of actually thinking and growing up in a culture of amusement, where TV is a constant signal to my brain, at least, of never thinking, just only taking attention. You know? And I see it with people around me, how kind of addicted they are on always listening to music, because then they're not confronted with their own thoughts. And yeah, ultimately life is the full and utter responsibility of meeting yourself in your true doing, in that sense, in all your decisions. It is all a matter of choice, and not making one is also one. many people are presented with a so-called choice, but that choice is just opposites. They're kind of opposite. The
Can you hear me?
far right.
Yeah, we can hear you now. You're back now, are you? Series
Alright.
was just saying something. Just let Series finish. She's going to play this video for you. Series?
Yeah, not the far left or the far right. No, just imbalance in between. The no choice of all. Because you're always seduced into being drawn in one of the dualities. And the path of kings is out of duality. And then the practice of kings is the resisting of the temptation, or fall back in one of the dualities. Extreme it into one thing instead of being in balance in both. You have it, you are not it. That is where the choice is lying, actually.
Okay, FPV says to watch the shapes pop up on the video, Series.
Good afternoon, morning, or evening, whatever the case may be. On the internet, I am at Yahoo. My hobby is the answer to everybody's problem. What I discuss and talk about is numerical relations to reality, how everything ties together in spectrum wavelengths, which is frequency, which is color, which is light, which is sound, and vibrational state of matter, how all can be tied together through a color coding. Understanding how color applies to numbers allows you to understand that you are living in an atomic, pixelated, 3D hologram. There is nothing more than an atomic state of matter. Atoms, many of them billions and gazillions of them moving in relation to each other, form many different energy clusters on different speeds of vibration. What is solid? What is physical? What has space in between it? What is solid? And by these understandings, then we are walking on nothing more than a plane inside a much larger atom. Everything is a vibrational state. Everything is a vibrational state of the same thing, using the same mathematical code and mathematical structuring that is expressed everywhere in our daily lives, and it's presented before our eyes daily, and it's presented to you in forms of mockery, Hollywood, fiction, music. They symbolize it. They turn its meanings upside down on its face. They stick a tongue at you and cover their creative spiritual eye and mock you because they are goats. They're children of the fucking goat. And their job is to deceive you and to keep you from understanding the truth of this place that you are walking in. You are not an evolved monkey. If you were an evolved monkey, then you'd be the one in the cage at the zoo. Because there'd be no more monkeys. You'd be the monkey. So your body consists of water, electricity, and mineral content. And the structure that creates every organism in your body, every system, is based on vortex mathematics. It's your hands, your organs, and your body, everything. And it is unified into the same thing in its larger form. Only you can't recognize this because you can only see the flesh. But you need to understand that the soul comes first. The soul is the seed of the body. The body is the pit. It is the core. It is not the skin and the meat and the fruit of it. It's not the flesh. It's the soul. It's been turned inside out on you. And you, as the masculine, and you, as the feminine, and you, as a baby sheep, EWE, YOU, you, we are all yous, baby sheep, in the kingdom of heaven. We're all made in the same image, male and female. And together, the two, male and female, create a balance. Red and blue thinking. Use both to achieve your higher state of self, logic, and creation. Red sight and blue sight, and the two of them together, unified, makes purple, which is the color of ascended masters. Or the ascended master. I've been working on a personal theory, the man in purple theory, I'm calling it. Every culture talks about a man wearing purple. Take all the names away for now. I just come to the understanding that there's many languages, and many languages comes many words and many names. And a simple understanding that they're all talking about the same guy appears to be coming out of this equation. Because the funny thing is, they all look the same. So when you go back and look at this and realize that there is no zero, and you just look at digits, and you look at them slowly and carefully, and you consider everything about them. You look at the sum of them, the sum of all digits is 36. The points in a circle is 360, but there's no zero. Drop the zero, there you go, there's 36. And 3 plus 6 is 9. And by halving the circle, no matter how many times you half it, the pi portions are always going to add to 9. 180, 90, 45, 22.5, 11.25, on and on and on. These numbers, the sums of all the numbers in the pi portion will always add up to 9 as you're halving and reducing the state. It's always pointing to the value of the whole, which is 9 in the middle.
Oh, is that the end? Oh, is that the end? Oh, Matt, I put in the chat room, Matt's crying.
Yeah, I love you.
Oh, FPV, we love you. Matt, we love you. Matt. And he's just, they're tears of happiness to see his work like that. FPV, that was brilliant. Thank you.
Needs more images.
Oh, come on, Matt. It's okay. We're proud of you. Give him a minute. He's wanted to, the other day we were just having this private hangout and he was, saying, wouldn't it be great if you could see his work a bit more in 3D, which he just has. And it's just, yeah, see, he's such a lovely bloke, Matt. And FPV's lovely too. Really hard. I mean, maybe to some people in the chat room, it might seem rather a lot he's saying, but Matt's worked really hard for this. Like series, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of his life. Still, Matt, you can show that to everyone now, can't you? Yes! Yes! We're just normal people. We don't have great big bank accounts like NASA and millions of pounds to try and show all this stuff to people. A few weeks ago, Matt, well, probably a month or two ago now, Matt just had his mobile phone. And he did everything through his mobile phone.
Jerome.
Do you want to play it again, series, so that everybody can just hear this again, to actually hear what Matt's actually saying? Play it again, series.
Okay.
A lot being said here.
Morning or evening, wherever the case may be, while you're hearing this message as I speak to you live on the internet that is a mockery of the Ethernet. I am at the Yahoo, Jerome. My hobby is the answer to everybody's problem. What I discuss and talk about is numerical relations to reality, how everything ties together in spectrum wavelengths, which is frequency, which is color, which is light, which is sound, and vibrational state of matter, how all can be tied together through a color coding. Understanding how color applies to numbers allows you to understand that you are living in an atomic, pixelated, 3D hologram. There is nothing more than an atomic state of matter. Atoms, many of them, billions and gazillions of them moving in relation to each other, forming many different energy clusters, all in different speeds of vibration. What is solid? What is physical? What has space in between it? What is solid? And by these understandings, then we are walking on nothing more than a plane inside a much larger atom. Everything is a vibrational state. Everything is a vibrational state of the same thing, using the same mathematical code and mathematical structuring that is expressed everywhere in our daily lives, and it's presented before our eyes daily, and it's presented to you in forms of mockery, Hollywood, fiction, music. They symbolize it. They turn its meanings upside down on its face. They stick a tongue at you and cover their creative spiritual eye and mock you because they are goats. They're children of the fucking goat. And their job is to deceive you and to keep you from understanding the truth of this place that you are walking in. You are not an evolved monkey. If you were an evolved monkey, then you'd be the one in the cage at the zoo. Because there'd be no more monkeys. You'd be the monkey. So your body consists of water, electricity, and mineral content. And the structure that creates every organism in your body, every system, is based on vortex mathematics. The symmetry in your face, your hands, your organs, and your body, everything. And it is unified into the same thing in its larger form. Only you can't recognize this because you can only see the flesh. But you need to understand that the soul comes first. The soul is the seed of the body. The body is the pit. It is the core. It is not the skin and the meat and the fruit of it. It's not the flesh. It's the soul. It's been turned inside out on you. And you as the masculine, and you as the feminine, and you as a baby sheep, EWE, you, we are all yous, baby sheep in the kingdom of heaven. We're all made in the same image, male and female, and together the two, male and female, create a balance. Red and blue thinking, Use both to achieve your higher state of self, logic, and creation. Red sight and blue sight, and the two of them together, unified, makes purple, which is the color of ascended masters. Or the ascended master. I've been working on a personal theory, the man in purple theory, I'm calling it. Every culture talks about a man wearing purple. Take all the names away for now. I just come to the understanding that there's many languages, and many languages comes many words and many names. And a simple understanding that they're all talking about the same guy appears to be coming out of this equation. Because the funny thing is, they all look the same. So when you go back and look at this and realize that there is no zero, and you just look at digits, and you look at them slowly and carefully, and you consider everything about them. You look at the sum of them, the sum of all digits is 36. The points in a circle is 360, but there's no zero. Drop the zero, there you go, there's 36. And 3 plus 6 is 9. And by halving the circle, no matter how many times you half it, the pi portions are always going to add to 9. 180, 90, 45, 22.5, 11.25, on and on and on. These numbers, the sums of all the numbers in the pi portion will always add up to 9 as you're halving and reducing the state. It's always pointing to the value of the whole, which is 9 in the middle.
Yay, thank you, series. I've never seen Matt quiet before. It's okay, Matt. Explain. Matt's probably had quite a hard life. Quite a lot's happened to him. I don't know whether people know. He was clinically dead, but he didn't go. He came back. And when he came back, he was even more sensitive than he was before he went. He's come back out to help save the world. Like series, like FPV, like the many others that help us. Dave Marsh. They go on. The list goes on. There's many more I haven't mentioned, so sorry if I haven't mentioned you. Only sleeps a few hours. Facebook live chats every day. And just an amazing guy. He's smiling again now. Yay!
Tears of joy.
But tears that somebody else probably took the time to show him what he said. He probably doesn't even listen to what he says. He says it. He gives it away. He gives it away. Series gives it away. Gives it to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do with it.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, he's back. I haven't seen you quiet.
That's so amazing. Isn't it? Kelly just saw it too. Kelly's crying over it too. She knows all the work I've put into getting to this. A lot.
There you go then. You've got some back now.
Wow.
FPV says you can keep adding to it.
We're working on it.
I've never seen Matt quiet. He's like speechless at the moment, aren't you? That's not like you.
No. No.
We love you too.
That's the machine you need to build, series. That's the machine to build. That's the shape to build everything inside of.
Wow.
That's the Send that through your 3D printer.
it's a nice surprise for you, Matt.
Yeah? Oh, wow. That's just
No,
always
you
been
weren't
my mind.
expecting that, were you? Because FPV came on at the beginning of the hangout to tell you he'd made this video, and you were yip yapping away, and now you've seen it.
Oh man, I'm speechless. Wow.
Well, I would say today, with FPV and that this is flat Earth at its best.
Get down.
Wow. Yeah, that's everything. Everything's right there. By that understanding, you can build. We've witnessed the car doors being bent and metal being rippled and manipulated. Everything can be manipulated. The shape of things can be changed, but the sound of it, by changing the sound of it, you have power over it.
If you have actually all
And that's
three
the
colors, you can actually manage your.
Oh, I didn't even notice the shell. Nice.
I think that just pretty much filled in a lot of gaps I was having. Because I used to I work with numbers and vibrations, and I'm only barely scratching the surface. That just filled in a lot of gaps for me. Very amazing. Absolutely amazing. I couldn't fathom at all that.
seeing it. For me, I'm having an emotional breakdown because I see it. If I could see it right there all the time, if I could see it. And that was just wow.
Series has the same thing as well. Series sees it all, but how to explain it to everyone is another matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
From student to teacher. Teaching is a whole other story. With how do you call it? I can say a word, but that word doesn't have to be interpreted as how I actually meant it. The one you try to teach something, you actually need to explain that whole word to begin with.
Yeah.
Before he's actually on your island, in that he can lay that bridge and actually see what you're actually telling. Getting into the deeper level of the science, in that sense, into the details of it, not only the scrap top of it, but an actual understanding.
Well, Matt, you've got some more subs now, and Ranty Rant says, tell Matt, the first 3 minutes I witnessed this guy, then the more I understood him, the more I knew I was witnessing true insight, a true genius in action. Glad I was here. Kiss. Matt, 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 this is amazing. He's stuck for words. This is not like you.
This is what they don't want you to know, is by this understanding you can attract molecules to a point. And that means you can harvest gold out of the air that you breathe.
It's been
That's
a
the
long
master
battle,
secret.
hasn't it, Matt? It's been a long time for all of us. I mean, I know that as well. Series has put hours and hours. No one will know. He's put hours and hours of his life. Hours.
It is my life.
It is my life. This is my life. This is who I am. This is my life. I have no life. This is my life. Yeah. Oh, great. Thank you.
Matt.
Yeah.
Marilyn says, Matt series, magic is not what you both do. It's beyond magic. Yes.
That's a lot.
Explain the magician bit, Matt. You may as well.
This goes to understanding that Jesus and his entire story is a fish story.
Tell people that at work.
And it's a phonetic fallacy, and it's phonics, and they're making fun of you. And once you understand that's not the real story of Christ, then you have to look at what the real story of Christ was, and that's he was sacrificed on a tree.
Makes more sense to me.
And that story is told across the board. And when it comes to the magician, the word is being taken out of text. You got to realize there's two types of magic. There's blood magic and there's earth magic. What you're learning right now, by all definitions, would be considered earth magic, which is manipulation of sound. That's the definition of alchemy. Understanding the chemical relationship of matter. That's what it means. It's all chemical. It's all chemical reality that we're living in. It's all current.
Okay, me.
But my family tree is AB negative, and it's the rarest form of blood in the world. It's the same blood type that was in the Turin, which is in Yeshua's wrappings, and in my family tree is said to be Merlin and Tesla. So it goes down to wondering if it's something that's blessed upon the DNA code, state of grace, foresight, magic eyes. The Levites, they were considered more electrical, so they could handle the covenant. These are just things that pop into my head. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. They have more electricity in their body. They vibrate at a higher frequency than the average person. And their blood can be given to all carriers. That's why it's so valuable. It can be given to every blood type. Consider the healer, and they cannot clone it. They can't clone it either. There's something in it that's unclonable. So it's high demand, very high demand.
Hey, one second, Matt. Time says we are your biggest fans and your humble students, Matt Jerome.
Thank you. I don't know what to do with this. I get shut down everywhere I go. No one wants to finance anything I do. It's just showing that everything's free. You know, you can manifest everything from nothing. So for me, it's heartbreaking to realize that most of my work will probably never go public. I know that. So what can I do? I do this. It's my way to fight.
Because
I know it's all bullshit.
Instead of giving you the fish, actually giving the knowledge of how to fish for yourself.
Yep. And by doing that, you're changing the eyes, and you change the eyes, you change the law. You change the public eyes, you change the public law.
Time, she's a person in the chat room. You made her cry.
Tears of joy.
FPC says, I've got your back, Matt.
Oh.
Kelly.
Hi.
I was homeless 10 years teaching myself alchemy. I learned a lot of this reading by a fire pit. In a tent, you know what I mean? So when people say they don't know nothing, I get pretty mad about it. I worked really hard to know what I know.
Ranty Rant says, sniff. I never cry, sniff, sniff. Says, and then Chris Hayes says, Matt is a good egg.
Good.
This repeated programming is so disgusting. It really is. I feel like I'm outside the box looking in. My whole life I felt like I was outside the box. I'm like, I want to be in this party that you're so excited about. What's so exciting to you? This is all, you're being led around. You're being hooked in line. I saw it my whole life. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, how do you get excited over this shit?
Yeah. And then all that work for it. So actually,
How do you get excited over fidget spinners?
it's I see people work a whole year to have, what is it, 4 or 5 weeks vacation.
Yeah. Right. What's the difference between a fucking rich man and a homeless man? What do they have in common? What do they have in common? Let's go that route. What do they both have in common? What do they have in common?
Go on,
That'll
then,
blow
tell
your
us.
mind. They both have their time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Matt, Time also says, tell Matt I was at one time. The most incredible people I've ever met were in that situation. The world is not easy for people like him.
No. No. And it's such a joke. It's everybody in the middle that's sandwiched in. Look at that. You know where the top half is going, and you know where the weakest half are going, but it's everybody getting stuck in the... They lost their time. It's the idiots running around for the money that make the world go round. They're the ones that are causing this current. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop trading at sea. Stop trading under the pylons of the sea.
Step on land.
Step on the land.
Well, many people will watch this, Matt, so it is out there now.
That's crazy.
Well, thank you so much, FPV. You've made Matt's day. I think even series sometimes, it makes you feel like you're just a one-man band sitting there trying to say all this stuff. Today, you've seen something more, some of your work together as a bigger picture, Matt.
In a way, I would also think this particular so-called monkey effect, that's actually, it's either we tune in it or tune not in it, and I'm not the only one thinking this. I can't be the only one. In a way, I would think, am I crazy, or is the whole world in a mass psychotic episode? And I figured
that's what I went through my whole life. I ran away from home at 14 because of the violence at home. And because of that, I didn't qualify. I was already outside the program because I became a statistical number. I'm already in a box. Before I even started, they don't have to do anything for me. They already labeled me. They got me under their thumb. So I didn't qualify for anything my whole life. So because they had me under their thumb, they didn't have to do nothing for me.
No papers, no work. Yeah, okay, no work. And in the meanwhile, I'm actually learning everything. So in a way, I'm actually free.
Right. I learned it.
I
I learned. I had to teach myself. So I had to teach myself to hate everything that mainstream society loved. If they loved it, I hated it. I didn't fucking want it. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I fucking hated it. I reversed my polarity.
Exactly. 180 degrees. Anything authority outside, you know.
1 + 8 is 9.
What you have to go through, you have to go and say no against it, all that bullshit from outside. Otherwise, it will keep you in that fear trauma of what they keep promoting or propagating or propaganda, whatever. All the time, that signal of commercial, buy, consume. Beer.
You don't realize
Even
it. Under
that
Nazi law, they believe only is the now. The past doesn't matter. There's only now. That's why they can do the things that they do, like erasing history, rewriting history, because they only believe there's now. And the past doesn't matter. Learning from it, remembering it, honoring it, so you don't repeat it. That's why time repeats itself, because it's being controlled.
Yeah, you're almost there. You're almost there. Never knowing that you already are. I mean, that's why I wrote this poem also. Love is your fierce prisoner. Fear is just a cage with bars of reasons, because every reason is a reason to not love. There is no reason to love because your nature is love. And only who loves is free of the cage of fear. And only who's free is happy. The children have happiness and the parents are seeking it. And that's why they teach the children to seek it also. But those who discover that they have lost it, but those who discover that they have never lost it, they discover that they don't have to seek for what they already have, and don't have to become for what they already are. And be yourself. And if you're not yourself, not yet yourself, come to yourself, because then you're happy. Be that flower you are, you know, that whole potential. Not only in that seed never planted into the full and utter responsibility of your own freedom, which you never learn to take as an actual adult level of a human. We are kept in the puberty state, never growing up. I see.
Hair standing right on end.
Oh,
All over.
yeah, you're already the master. No matter how unaware you are about it, you cannot lose your.
That's all your job is to do. Your job is to come here and understand what it is you're living in. Then you know what you are, and then you can go home when you die. That's all your job is to do. Problem is, no one asks no questions. They're distracted by all these things out here that require your time. And you have to get money, so you have to work, commit physical action to produce a physical labor. That's why human labor is the highest valued commodity in the world.
Karl Marx called it stalled labor time.
And you look, I mean, if you just listen to our forefathers, Thomas Jefferson said, if you give a government permission to print money, first, they will make it valuable so that people rely on it. And we become really fat and lazy. Look around.
Mm.
We don't do nothing for ourselves. We buy everything. So first to make it valuable so you'll want it.
And I,
That's what commercialism's all about. Making you want stuff, money, because you got to have current. You got to spend current. Movement.
No.
Trading by ocean.
Yeah.
Piracy. Law of the ocean and pirates.
Every deal is a portion away. I found that with PayPal buying bitcoins, the kind of most easy way is by paying a double amount for the price of a bitcoin. And the other ways are fully tied with credit cards, etc. All this registration, all the money, blah, blah, just to change it to bitcoins.
It's non-physical money.
I can't even get those things.
Non-physical money. I can't get it either. I don't have credit cards. I don't use those things. I'm firmly against those type of things. I mean, I do get Social Security. It comes on a card, but I can't pay payments and stuff on the internet with it. I take all the cash off and I pay my bills with it. And I'm responsible with what it gets me by. It pays my bills. When you manage your money, people aren't responsible. They don't manage their money right.
Yeah.
Because of commercialism. Causes triggers in the mind to buy things that you don't need. Or you can't afford. That's why TV ads is such big money. Get people to jump through hoops.
Mm.
Just do chips on this.
So realizing that you don't have to react. That's the key to it. And once you really understand you don't have to do anything, you win. But they never want you to realize that you don't have to do anything. That's why there's so many things on the TV and so many terrorist acts and acts of war and all this shit. Some of it's not even real. Go watch the movie War Dogs. Wag the Dog. Think about that. Dogs of War. Wag the Dog. How to get the dog to wag.
If you want to hit the dog, you will always find a stick. Just the way of it.
That movie. The premises of that movie should be alarming. That movie was about hiring a drunk Hollywood movie producer to create a movie, a simulated war, that they could present on the 6 o'clock news as the truth. So they create a movie in Hollywood and sell it as the news.
Yeah, as they did in the theaters to begin with, actually.
Right. So there's never even a real war. They've staged a whole war, and they sold it to the masses as truth, as a way to fucking hustle the people out of tax money. Think of all the money that comes out of the country to pay for war. Billions.
It's so
billions.
Like the tiny dots.
The numbers are ridiculous. They just throw numbers at you. They make them up. Oh, we got to buy this neutron rocket that's going to fly. Half the shit they even telling you is so fucking, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. They tell you we've never been outside the ionosphere.
Problem, reaction, solution.
Right.
We have this problem.
We need to buy these missiles. Oh God, North Korea's going to nuke us. We better vamp our military up.
Fear. Reasons to give money.
Right. Give big numbers of money.
The thing is, the thing is paying everything double because they're actually already doing it from your death certificate. You know, they're already.
Well, no, they don't. They don't get to cash it out. They don't get to use your account until you're dead. That is your account. That money's put in there at birth. and it accumulates interest and whatnot, but you don't have access to it. Neither do they really until you die. See?
Yeah, unless you find out how it actually works and see the gap hole, how
Right.
they do it themselves.
So I need to. There's one guy on YouTube that's putting out the message for states on how to break this TDA account. How do you do it? There's a couple. I just don't understand rules and regulations of man and government. I don't care. They don't mean to me, and they don't matter to me at this point. But now, for entertainment values, I want to see what can happen. What kind of hornet's nest I can stir up by cashing mine out.
Something, Matt. Hang on a minute. Wizlaz has also been having a bit of a tough time. That sort of give you a moment as well, then, Wizlaz, listening to what just happened, as well, with being very sensitive and stuff.
I got to use that. Hold on.
I didn't understand that. I didn't.
Well, I just meant, you know, you were telling me how you were struggling with things because you're a mega sensitive person as well. And then you just see Matt, see, we're only human. So we're not machines. We've got hearts. And we seem to forget it.
Some have just more senses and are more aware. And then
You know,
just more overloaded.
I saw FPV. There was in the chat talking about lower level FEers. What is it that I wrote to you in the chat earlier? I was stepping down to a lower level on some of these chats, right?
Following this.
Sorry, I missed the last couple of words then. My computer decided to lag. Can you say that again, Wizlaz?
I saw FPV in the chat where he was talking about some lower level FEers. And I tried to type in chat, but I couldn't. It did that thing that we were talking about. Must be my tablet, but yeah, he said something about lower level FEers, that he's not blind to what's going on, lower level FEers. And what did I write to you earlier before the hangout in the chat that I posted to you in the hangout chat? That could you read some of that? Can you see it? I can't see it from here.
Oh, hang on, I'm not on the chat. Hang on.
He says, not you, Wiz.
Oh, no. Just what? Look how this comes together. This was before the hangout. Just watch how this comes together. I said almost the exact same thing.
Here then, Wizlaz.
No, when in the other in the chat before where you put the link for me. Remember what I wrote?
Do you want me to read what?
Yeah.
The one where I sent you the link.
Yeah.
Second, I'm just going there. Right, this one bit. What, a realization just hit me. That one.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Wizlaz writing to me. A realization just hit me going through some motions today. It seems I'm not feeling the same of some of the other channels. I attend chats in. It seems I have been in limbo, so to speak, passing the time, like I don't belong there, as if I stepped down to a lower level. I have left this before, but not as strong as it was now. I'm not sure if this is just a moment in time or if I should walk more to it, but I'm not sure yet. So just explain that a little bit more then.
It feels like much what FPV said in the chat about lower level FEers. You see how it comes together. I was feeling the same way on some of these chats. It doesn't feel. It feels lower. It doesn't feel like how it should be elevated. It doesn't feel. It doesn't feel. It's at the vibrational rate that it should be. I don't mix with it. It's not my vibration. I have to step down, and it's not right. It's fucked up. Oh, sorry about that.
You're fucking cool, man. Fuck that shit. Don't worry about that. If somebody finds it offensive, fuck them too. Fuck it. What the hell is anybody responding to anything emotionally about anything? That's the whole point of this.
You know, and when you introduced me to Matt, and you took me into Sun and Moon, I think this is my home. Like you said, I belong here.
Yay! Another member of the family! Big hugs! You can't see me, but I'm sending Wizlaz a hug.
You should add water on the sun and moon. You should add sun, moon, and water.
But you know, I think I found you like that, didn't I, Matt? Matt knows from the beginning that I haven't actually physically met him, but I'll say met him. Matt knows I've loved him, don't you, Matt?
I know, Karen. You're my favorite.
And Kelly in the background.
Hi.
Kelly.
Kelly's just getting home from work.
And now comes
And she's
Wizlaz.
camera shy.
Kelly. And now we've met, well, now we've had hangouts with Wizlaz, and I also think that he's part of this. He's another very sensitive person with a lot of information. You're here. And everybody in the chat room. Yay!
Thanks so much.
Much better than all that stupid drama and all that crap. Don't need to argue. We just need to understand each other better.
Love each other.
Can I just say something, Karen?
Of course, Patricia.
Here when I cried. I just love everybody. And I'm blessed to be on this group. Honestly, I am.
Oh, Patricia. Patricia's a lovely person. She's a really good friend to me. And I love her very much. Thank you, Patricia. Eamon, I'm going to start crying. Thanks, Matt. I'm going to start crying in a minute.
What's going on here?
It's contagious. Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Kelly, you must be proud of him now, yeah?
I sure am.
There's a lot of work in this. A lot of paper.
Yes! Matt's always drawing.
A whole lot of numbers.
A lot of paper. You know, like even before the show, I was trying to do this out so people could understand the structure of their face and how the symmetry's in their face. That's your face. That's symmetry in your face.
Yeah.
And that's your brain. Up here is your brain. That's the hemispheres of your brain inside the skull. It's the same symmetry. If you see it, it's the same. It's fucking the same thing. Everything is the same. To understand this fully, that everything is the same from that to that, that's very, to fully understand what that means, that's mind-blowing. It really is. And then to be able to prove it with numbers, it's very humble. I woke up one day 5 years ago and I said, numbers. I said, I know numbers better than anybody I know. I said, they're going to tell me the secrets to everything. And off I went. Down, and this is a 5-year run to get to where I'm at right now. 5 years of running around the numbers to understand them the way I do right now.
Also to explain to people that, you know, Matt has had to, he's not a mathematician. He just gets all this information running around his head, just like Wizlaz does. And it's just almost too much to bear sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach it.
And then trying to teach it, and then trying to teach the understanding of it.
That's difficult.
I had to, that's the,
Trying to figure out how to explain it as a bitch. It's
right, when you understand something that's not naturally taught.
That was funny.
She's laughing. She's laughing because she understands me, and she gets it when I tell her, because she's around it all the time, and she hears it, and she sees my work, and she's rubbed around it, and she just has a natural understanding from being in it. But at work, she tries to talk about it with her coworkers, or she tries to explain something, and they just look at her like she's stupid. But she can't explain to them yet because she don't have a full understanding yet.
Oh, I understand.
But she
And
gets
not just
it.
that, like the other part is
but-
that
But to
we're
communicate
not
it.
teachers. You know, like Chris really well presents everything. I mean, he's done a lot of presentations, and we appreciate everything that Chris Monk's done. But I mean, Series and Matt and Wizlaz, when they're not teachers, you know, no one's taught them that.
Exactly. You just see it right now.
Yeah. I didn't.
Marilyn says, just to remind you, you look like Jack Nicholson, a younger version.
I did too. Oh my god.
She's dying.
I wake up every morning and say I'm dating Jack Nicholson. Oh boy.
Yeah, the younger version of him.
Oh, that was
Anyway,
funny.
it is a moment because Matt just lives, breathes like Series. I suppose Wizlaz is the same. Well, Patricia's probably the same. Live, breathe. How many people in the chat room do Flat Earth every day and get involved in trying to learn something or understand something? Just put it in the chat room. Who has a day off from Flat Earth? Because I don't. It's my life too.
Look at this one I did.
Catch up.
Look, this is 1 day's work. This is 8 hours to do this whole poster board. You see that all right? You see there's 5 diagrams on here?
Yeah.
That middle one's the one that's my favorite. It took me years to understand how to do this. That's the pi numbers that we remember. I was telling you the sphere numbers yesterday, Series. By using them sphere numbers and working your way down from the greatest sphere number down to 0. On this one, I did 120, 90, 45, 40, 24, and 15. But look what's happening there. You see a tree?
Which one are we looking at? The one that's sort of got just lines on it.
Yeah, the one in the middle. The one, you kind of see a peace sign. You see the peace sign? The one in the middle? Yeah. That's all the degrees, using degree numbers from a circle. That's not just trying to, that's using degree lines. And sometimes they overlap, like 30. That's 15 double. See, that's half of, it's 15 twice. So all the 30s, they share lines with 15 and on and forth. It's very maddening. This is how it is.
It's where the triangles meet.
Yeah. This is why it works. Is like it's because of this right here. And understanding that is crazy. I was trying to explain that right here is the opposition fields. I was trying to positive, negative, and neutral inside a. Without going through the middle, I was trying to go around the middle, not go through it and see what happened. So I didn't put any lines to the center. I put no lines to the center in that one. I went to all the connecting points to the outside, but I skipped the middle points.
Point of that was, Matt?
I don't even know. Honestly, I have no idea. It's just something I did using positive 3 lines. But I didn't want to go through the middle because I thought that you talk about the created point. See, so the created point.
The opposite of so no. It's the creative point within the toroidal field towards the field outwards, what is actually containing the creative point as well.
Right.
And then in
So it's
itself, it goes also into the inertial plane.
yeah.
And then it refines and goes to cycle again.
And that's why if you look at the yellow on this one, okay, you look at the yellow frequencies, the yellow numbers. Oh wait,
Only one side.
They're only on one side, but there's 6 yellow frequent. When you realize how the frequencies work and the frequency numbers of yellow 2, 5, and 8, they have 6 vibrational fields.
Yeah.
Because those 3 numbers can be turned in 6 different presentations, but they still have the same value as a whole. They still equal and add up to 6. Doesn't matter how you present them. You could present them 258 or 852. But the way those worked out is that the exact opposite flips, right? So 285 and 825. Those 2 numbers together, they add to 1,110. See, all the yellow ones add onto themselves, add to the whole. That's why it's only on one side on this. So 258 and 852. See that? The 2 of them add together the same thing. And 528 and 582. Same thing. So yellow, you see what's going on onto itself, it sums the whole. What does that mean? I don't know. But that's a clue. See what I mean? That's a clue on to the next level. That's a clue. Because yellow is not part of the symmetrical system. It's only on one side, like you pointed out. It's only on one side. On that side, it's only on one side.
Same as the blue and the red. Where's the yellow? Is that the farther above or so? Or the heart?
Well, that's what I was getting ready to talk about, because it is kind of contradictory to some people what I think it means. So the yellow is right there. And then the rest of the portions are all red and blue.
Yeah.
So is it like this? The sun's above, see?
Mm-hmm.
That would be symmetrical that way, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Technically. The colors, when you understand how the color relation, you can start pulling in all the physical elements and how they overlay each other. I started from nothing and said, okay, what's the first thing? The first thing is sound. It's not light, it's sound. because light is a current. It's movement. It's not what caused it to move. Something caused it to move. So that's not the source. So what caused the action of current, which is time? What caused this whole fucking thing to start spinning? That's sound.
Yes.
It's not light. Tesla was wrong. It's not light. It's sound. He said everything was light.
Oh, so in the beginning there was the word.
Right. Which when I go investigate Tesla's work, he said aliens were talking to him and shit. Aliens aren't talking to me. I'm not receiving no codes from fucking Greys and Archons and demons and Nephilim fucking lizard fucking shape shifting motherfucking goats. No. I don't think so. No. No.
Is there something else like an intuition?
I'm getting it straight out of my own heart, straight up visual. I'm seeing pictures. It's coming in instant. I don't even think about it. I'm seeing these pictures in my mind, and it's just boom.
It's kind of in one moment a whole experience. There.
Yeah. And even as a child, I could read a book in an hour or two. I could read a book, 100-something pages in an hour, fast, very fast. And I used to get made fun of about how many books I could read. I remember that very well. And because of how fast I could read, I realized that the faster I was reading, I was creating pictures in my mind.
Movie. That's how I experience a book. As a movie within.
Yeah.
Oh, I do it too.
Yeah. And then what my interest as a child was the Iliad and Homer's Odyssey. I read all that stuff when I was a kid. I thought it was entertaining. I didn't even know I was doing my homework at the time. But now it all correlates to what it all ties in. Because of the basic knowledge I gave myself, because of my home life being so, all that stuff, I read everything. And even mostly it was how to ask questions.
Matt, ciao in the chat room. 369. I wish I knew why. Why?
Tesla said 9 were the keys to the universe. I wish I knew why.
So why?
Yeah.
Why?
Look into the work of Matt, of what numbers are correlating to color, to sound, to anything with frequencies. Because he didn't say only 369, but also frequencies.
Everything in reality is a three-phase system, and there's only 3 colors. Everything else is a vibrational state of those 3 colors. There's only red, blue, and yellow. Everything else is a vibration of the mixture of those 3, or all of them, or none of them.
Yeah.
And you get your balances of.
Carry on.
So there is no zero. So understanding geometry is personality, and personalities can be positive, they can be negative, or they can be neutral. 3 types of personalities, 3 types of energy. Everything is a 3-phase system. It doesn't matter what you want to put a name on it. So everything, it can be positive, negative, or neutral, red, blue, or yellow, because those are your 3 primaries, and the sum of everything will be black. It won't be white, because white is white noise and it's negative. It has no value, which is what I was going into earlier, which is what I believe the sun is a negative light. The light, a lesser light for the day, and a greater light at night for the night. The lesser the lights to rule over the day, and the greater light to rule over the night.
The other way around.
That's out of the Bible. That popped into my head today from, see, my brain is ingrained with scripture because of my childhood. My father was a very religious man, and I wrote the Bible by hand. So when I work into these things, random scripture verses pop into my head as clues.
Yeah, they're laying
Clues to the next piece.
Yeah.
I already have this in my head from when I was a child, and I had no ego, and I had no intent, and I didn't have a fucking clue. I didn't know anything, and so I just accepted all these verses into my head. I wrote them by hand. I'm not kidding. All of them, every bit. I wrote it by hand. And what they're teaching today in today's Bible, and verses 100 years ago, and then verses 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, it's a fucking mockery. It's a fucking joke.
Matt, you just completed for me. When you talk about the verses pop in your head when you're working, with their stuff. Some years ago, I had the notion that the Bible, it wasn't about the words. I had turned the Bible sideways. It looked like bars on a graphic equalizer. And I thought that the Bible is really a book of resonance, of vibrational sound. And they didn't know the only way they could interpret it was with words. But it's really a book. That's the key to it, is what you're doing. It's all it's a book of vibration, of resonance. It has nothing to do with the words.
No, it doesn't. It's the message it has not, because everything's full of, the cover story, like I've been showing people about the crucifixion and all these word games that they're playing on you. This is a Rosicrucian fallacy, phony story that's being fed to the masses. The fish, they're setting you up to be hooked and lined on a cruise. Crucifixion, cruise a fiction. It's all wordplay. They made up a false narrative so they could rewrite history in their image to cover up the crimes of what their families did to the masses. To blind your eyes, the Phoenicians. And that's where you get phonetics and fallacies, and Christ called them the Pharisees.
Yeah, the fair of seas. The fair is money of seas, of the water, which is what we're doing now. The money, the courts, admiralty. Yep.
Yeah. So they've shown you that everything's under a pirate law. When you understand that, and your rights aren't being acknowledged, that's why you feel out of place, and that's why, because there's no understanding. And they keep you in a chemical state. I'm a numbers guy, so I look at this all like a logistics and numbers, everything. I'm not emotional about anything. I accept the truth of the numbers because there's no ego there. There's no ego, and they're not lying. They don't have no fucking fight in it. They don't care how it is. They're just telling you what it is. And you could take it or leave it. They don't give a shit. So when you understand you have no control, right? You can walk out the door and get hit by a bus. Tomorrow's no guarantee, and you can't do nothing about yesterday. See? So all there is now. You can learn from yesterday so you don't repeat it tomorrow. But all you can do is witness and experience the now. And make the best decisions you can logically instead of emotionally. Respond instead of fucking react emotionally. Knee jerk, get hooked around positive or negative feelings. It doesn't matter if you go negative or you go positive. As long as I can keep the emotional tension on the line. It doesn't matter if you go negative, I'll go negative with you. I'll keep the line pressure and I'll keep pulling on the line. I'll lead you around all day on that fish hook. I can do it. Better believe I can. I'm doing you a favor by explaining to you what they're doing to you. It's a huge favor. No one ever comes out and talks about this. Ever. Not like this. Not like this. They sell their souls for this knowledge. They don't give it away for free. I cracked this all by myself. All by myself.
You did, Matt.
Truly. Truly. I had no one to ask. You don't even understand. People got to understand. I assumed the position that everybody was a liar. Since I was a child, I assumed everybody was lying because of the lifestyle I had to experience and what I dealt with and what I saw on a daily level. Before I was with Kelly, was with Kelly, and I was homeless to sustain my life without asking for help. I created a delivery service, fucking selling marijuana when it was still illegal. I believe in the product, and it's better than the fucking pharmaceutical industry, which is ran by witchcraft. Look it up in the dictionary. Look up pharmacy in the dictionary. It means fucking witchcraft. Go look it up. Learn your fucking dictionary. Learn your fucking diction of Aries. Holy shit, it's right in your face. Diction of Aries. Aries is the god of war.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I know what you mean. I'm a soloist myself, and I've never had anybody to teach me anything.
When you go out there.
Yeah, I went through a fucking lot of shit to figure this out, and still it's scary. And it's like, am I fucking crazy? No one else gets this shit. Am I fucking mentally insane? I sound pretty sensical to me, but everybody else is looking at me like I need a fucking check and a pill.
Oh yeah, I know. I've thought about committing myself many times, years and years ago, many times.
Practically shutting down.
Yeah, I tried to kill myself. I won't lie.
That's what they want.
I
They
fucking
can't.
mentally had a breakdown. I had a mental breakdown before I had the stroke. The year before I had the stroke, I had a mental breakdown from synthetic marijuana while I was on parole. I tried to fucking kill myself.
And the only thing they do is removing the alarm bells.
What happened with the spice, the legal synthetic marijuana, which doesn't make, it's worse than fucking, if you understand the chemicals they put in the synthetic marijuana, it's about practically the same thing as meth. It's off a molecule or two. And the FDA allows that in the store, and it was a $6 billion habit. $6 billion industry its first year out the gate because it was so habit forming. If I didn't go to prison, I would have gotten hooked. I never would have come off it, and I probably would have died on the street from it. It was that bad on your brain.
Yeah, that spice came through here a couple years ago.
That's because she is actually meant for the brain nerves.
I spent $60,000 smoking that shit in 2 years.
1 second. Wizlaz, what were you going to say?
Oh, I already said it. Did I not hear it?
No, because I think Series didn't hear you, and just say it again.
I said, yeah, the spice came through here a couple years ago, and some people had died, and they shut that down real quick. They keep changing the chemicals. They were making laws against each chemical, and they kept changing the chemicals.
Playing fucking technical games. People don't understand that the drug industry on the street and the drug industry in the store are owned and operated by the same fucking families. You're caught in the fucking middle. That's why the war's been on marijuana forever. Okay? What happened to the culture that was protesting Nixon? They outlawed their culture. The people that were protesting Nixon, they didn't go after them. They went after the culture of marijuana. And that's how you scattered the fucking crowds. You made their culture illegal. Psychological warfare. Hitler created
it's about every
death
avenue. Every angle, it's everything they do is this warfare against us, one way or another.
Halian dialect. I don't even have to know their program. The numbers tell me a lot, and then I got to look at what they're telling the public. I understand the formula of Halian dialect. I see what they're doing and why. I don't need to know the rest. I already know what they're doing and why. Because of Halian dialect, I understand problem, reaction, solution. I understand they're creating the fear, so now I understand they're producing the outcome so they can control the future from the fear that they created in the first place. A great example of this would be, say there's somebody you don't like, and you walk up behind them, and there's another person to the left that they hate each other. And you punch one of them in the back of the head, and you step back real quick. They turn around and say, who hit me? You point at the third party. Now those two are fighting. And that was your plan from the beginning, to see those two fight. That's Halian dialect one-on-one. Make you feel insecure, create a problem, and then create the solution. Or a bully in the alley of somebody trying to rob you. Give me your money or I'm going to fucking kill you. Created a fearful solution and the outcome. Give me your money or I'm going to kill you. Which one are you going to pick?
Dog eat dog world, isn't it? Dog eat dog world.
Yeah, and remember, you're indoctrinated Roman, so your brain is programmed fight or fight. Two responses: fight or flight. Not just stand. They don't teach you to stand. They teach you to fight or flight. Forward or backwards. They don't tell you to stand still. They don't tell you to not react to things. They condition your mind to be predatorial like a reptile. That's reptilian. Fight or flight.
FPV says special hug night for Matt.
It's a lot of information on this video, Reed. Wow.
He would like is he thinks that before we end, even though it's the third time the video played again.
Yeah, let's end it up.
We have been going for 3¼ hours now, Matt.
Yeah, let's close it out with watching the video again. This is great. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm pooped. I want to spend some time with Kelly.
Series, play the video again. Thank you, my darling. You're muted though, Series.
And that's the link from FPV up here.
Yeah.
I just want to copy the link.
Good afternoon, morning, or evening, wherever the case may be, while you're hearing this message as I speak to you live on the internet. That is a mockery of the Ethernet. I am at Yahoo. My hobby is the answer to everybody's problem. What I discuss and talk about is numerical relations to reality, how everything ties together in spectrum wavelengths, which is frequency, which is color, which is light, which is sound, and vibrational state of matter, how it all can be tied together through a color coding. Understanding how color applies to numbers allows you to understand that you are living in an atomic, pixelated, 3D hologram There is nothing more than an atomic state of matter. Atoms, many of them, billions and gazillions of them moving in relation to each other, form many different energy clusters on different speeds of vibration. What is solid? What is physical? What has space in between it? What is solid? And by these understandings, then we are walking on nothing more than a plane inside a much larger atom. Everything is a vibrational state. Everything is a vibrational state of the same thing, using the same mathematical code and mathematical structuring that is expressed everywhere in our daily lives, and it's presented before our eyes daily, and it's presented to you in forms of mockery, Hollywood, fiction, music. They symbolize it. They turn its meanings upside down on its face. They stick a tongue at you and cover their creative spiritual eye and mock you because they are goats. They're children of the fucking goat. And their job is to deceive you and to keep you from understanding the truth of this place that you are walking in. You are not an evolved monkey. If you were an evolved monkey, then you'd be the one in the cage at the zoo. Because there'd be no more monkeys. You'd be the monkey. So your body consists of water, electricity, and mineral content. And the structure that creates every organism in your body, every system, is based on vortex mathematics. It's symmetry in your face, your hands, your organs, and your body, everything. And it is unified into the same thing in its larger form. Only you can't recognize this because you can only see the flesh. But you need to understand that the soul comes first. The soul is the seed of the body. The body is the pit. It is the core. It is not the skin and the meat and the fruit of it. It's not the flesh. It's the soul. It's been turned inside out on you. And you, as the masculine, and you, as the feminine, and you, as a baby sheep, EWE, YOU, you, we are all yous, baby sheep, in the kingdom of heaven. We're all made in the same image, male and female, and together, the two, male and female, create a balance. Red and blue thinking. Use both to achieve your higher state of self, logic, and creation. Red sight and blue sight, and the two of them together, unified, makes purple, which is the color of ascended masters. Or the ascended master. I've been working on a personal theory, the man in purple theory, I'm calling it. Every culture talks about a man wearing purple. Take all the names away for now. You just come to the understanding that there's many languages, and many languages comes many words and many names. And a simple understanding that they're all talking about the same guy appears to be coming out of this equation. Because the funny thing is, they all look the same. So when you go back and look at this and realize that there is no zero, and you just look at digits, and you look at them slowly and carefully, and you consider everything about them. You look at the sum of them, the sum of all digits is 36. The points in a circle is 360, but there's no zero. Drop the zero, there you go, there's 36. And 3 plus 6 is 9. And by halving the circle, no matter how many times you half it, the pi portions are always going to add to 9. 180, 90, 45, 22.5, 11.25, on and on and on. These numbers, the sums of all the numbers in the pi portion will always add up to 9 as you're halving and reducing the state. It's always pointing to the value of the whole, which is 9 in the middle.
Whoa. Matt, there's some really nice comments in the chat room. There's just thank you, Matt. FPV says inspirational. Flat Fred says thank you, Matt, for your time. Anne sends kisses, hugs, and time is just loving you. And everybody is just giving out really nice. I think the geezers are subbed. Just goes on and on and on. I can't even read them. There's just so many nice comments on there now. Oh, there is one I want to read from Richard. Just thank you, Richard. He says, Richard Lee says, thank you so much, Matt, for all your knowledge you've shared with us tonight. Much love. Marilyn says the same. Oh, Marilyn says she loves your hat series. Stan Smith says good info. There you go. Nice positive evening for you, Matt. Well, I'm going to come back now. I'm going to end this hangout now. With to come back camera. Yay, there I am. And hug for Wizlaz, for Patricia, for Ceres, for Kelly, for every single body in the chat room, and much love and thank you, Matt. It's Matt's night tonight. Patricia, and Patricia.
Yeah, she's there.
Been so emotional. I don't know what to say.
Words, Matt, before we go. Don't tell me now he's going to be speechless. Well, it's a bit emotional now because, well, he's worked so hard. But again, thank you everybody in the chat room. And Matt will be back.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll be back. I will be back. I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this feed too on my Facebook page. You post it, Karen.
Don't worry. Again, big hug to everybody. We're going tomorrow night,
And
9
PV, thank
o'clock.
you. PV, that was awesome. You guys, thank you.
Yay!
Thank you. Man, seeing it like that, seeing it out here instead of in here, that was amazing.
Thank you, FPV.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah. All right, you guys, have a good night.
Big hugs to everybody. Thank you for everybody listening and everybody who's going to watch this when it's uploaded. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Kelly.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.